It is official after it's been about a month of no NBA basketball. Summer League is starting. Summer League is starting tomorrow. The California Classic begins tomorrow, and I for one am very excited. Very excited. So just to get things started, I'm just gonna go over the teams that are playing tomorrow, go over some of their big roster pieces to look forward to, and just the overall hype of what you can gather from each game tomorrow. That will that will get you excited. So first game on the docket tomorrow is the Lakers versus the Heat at 5 p.m. Central, I think. Jalen Hood-Schifino, their first round draft pick this year, is going to be playing. Max Christie, their second round pick from last year. Scottie Pippen Jr., Cole Swider, Maxwell Lewis, Colin Castleton, Alex Fudge, Damian Baugh, LJ Figueroa, Sasha Kilia Jones, Bryce Hamilton, Demoy Hodge. I mean, just looking at the Lakers roster for the Summer League, it's one of the lesser exciting rosters, I would say. Players to look at: Scottie Pippen Jr., Jalen Hood-Schifino, and Max Christie. Other than that, I don't think I've heard of any of these guys. I guess Maxwell Lewis was their second round pick this year from Pepperdine. He could be interesting. But yeah, mainly just Jalen Hood-Schifino. See what he can do. Potentially be in the roster next year, which is looking less and less with all the signings that they're doing. But maybe he has promise. Maybe he can be on the bench this year, get some knowledge, learn the game plan, learn the plays, get accustomed to the league a little bit before he plays in like a year or two. So you never know. And so they're playing Miami. Miami's roster is Nikola Jovic, their first round draft pick from last year, who had some hype around him. Jaime Jaquez, their first round pick this year, who I really want to see how his game translates to the league. He was a very solid college player. He didn't have that much hype around him. He's a little bit older. I think he's around 22, 23 years old. So he's a little older for a rookie. They have Jamal Cain, Orlando Robinson, Jamari Boye, Justin Powell, Chase Augie, Caleb Daniels, Trenton Masner, Alondez Williams, Drew Peterson, Taylor Funk, Javon Franklin, Patrick Gardner. Only two people I know are Nikola Jovic and Jaime Jaquez. So those are the two players I'm going to be focusing on. So for the Heat, Lakers, Jaime Jaquez, Jalen Hood-Schifino. I mean, I don't know. They're both like mid-round picks. They're picks right next to each other. So we'll see what they can do. They're both solid teams already. So these are the players that aren't going to be leading their team, but they're going to be they could be key pieces in the future or next season. And then the game right after that is Memphis versus Philly. I'm just going to go over the star players now because going over the whole roster like I did with the last two teams, no one's going to care, and no one really knows who those players are. I'm not saying that they're bad. They could show out. Maybe we'll learn their names. I hope we do. But for the rest of the teams, I'm just going to go over the highlights. So for Memphis, they got Jake LaRavia, the 19th pick from last year. He had a couple games in Memphis this year. He's a good shooter. He's not that athletic. He's kind of big for his position. Maybe he can show out more. The roster was pretty deep, so he didn't get much playing time. I think he was injured for a little bit. Kenneth Lofton Jr., great player. He was in the G League last year. They signed him for the playoffs, and I don't know how much minutes he got. I don't think he played very often, but we could be seeing a bigger role for him this year. David Roddy, the 23rd pick from last year. That's really the highlights for them. So I would be looking at Kenneth Lofton the most, Jake LaRavia too, and David Roddy. And for the Sixers, they don't really got anybody. They got Marcus Bagley from Arizona State. That's where I go to school, so I'll be looking at him. Makur Maker, Thon Maker's brother, I believe. They're not having anybody playing from the draft. I don't even know if they had any draft picks this year. Jaden Springer, 28th pick from 2021. Sixers might be a pretty boring team this summer league. There always is. There's always some teams, but it just brings out more players that you don't know. So they got Greg Brown. He was a high flyer, if I believe, in college, but I'm not sure. But these teams that you don't know players, they're still fun to watch because they can make a name for themselves, and there's nothing better than seeing a player come out of the rubble, come out of the debris, and get some playing time on a team. So you never know. One of these players, maybe they're a future MVP. Who knows? Who knows? And then we got the game everybody's been waiting for. Charlotte versus San Antonio. The number 2 versus the number 1 pick. Even though I believe Wembanyama is not going to be playing until Las Vegas. Might be the same for Brandon Miller. But regardless, they're on the Summer League roster, so I'm going to read them off. So for the Hornets, they got Nick Smith Jr. He was a 27th pick this year. I'm looking forward to seeing him. James Bouknight, number 11 pick from 2 years ago, hasn't really settled into a role yet with the Hornets. He's been efficient when he's been on the floor. He's been up and down from the G League to the team. He just hasn't had a very consistent season yet in his career. Amari Bailey, the 41st pick this year in the second round for the Hornets. He's a pretty well-known name because he played at Sierra Canyon, I believe, with Bronny. I think that's Amari Bailey. But yeah, he played at UCLA. He's a 6'3" point guard. Kai Jones, 19th pick from 2021. Obviously, Brandon Miller. I'm looking forward to seeing how Brandon Miller is, because there were some rumors before the draft that he wasn't in NBA shape at the time. But he's a great shooter. Some people are saying the next KD. I got to see it to believe it. I saw him in college. He played well. But I'm going to need to see some in the NBA. I know it's the Summer League, so a lot of people overreact because a lot of players do well in the Summer League. Then the season starts, and they're not doing great. And then James Najee on the Hornets, who was the 31st pick this year. I see him on TikTok all the time. I don't know about y'all, but I see him on TikTok literally every time I open the app, practicing with Serge Ibaka. He's one of the most athletic players in the draft. He can't shoot. I mean, he's a center. He's a big center. He's 7 foot with a 7, 6 wingspan or something like that. He's crazy physicality wise. So I'm looking forward to watching him. So yeah, Brandon Miller, James Najee, Nick Smith Jr. Those are the 3 I would say for the Hornets. Hornets are going to be a good summer league team. They got a solid squad on their team. So I know Victor's not going to play, but still they got some players to look out for. And then for the San Antonio Spurs, obviously they got Victor Wembanyama, the number 1 pick. Not going to be playing until Las Vegas, but when he does, everybody's going to be watching that game. But for tomorrow, they got Malachi Branham, the 20th pick from last year. He turned it up in the last part of last season, I believe. I think he averaged over 10 points. He's a good shooter, can drive. I think he's going to be a great player for the Spurs in the future. Sidi Kosoko, their 44th pick this year. Very interested to see what he does. He took the G League route last year. So that'll be interesting for the Spurs. Not too much else besides those 2. When they got Victor, they're gonna be showcased. They're gonna be star-studded. But without him, look forward to Malachi Branham and Sidi Kosoko, I would say, and Blake Wesley, their 25th pick from also last year. So those 3 players, I would say, are gonna be good to watch for the Spurs. So the next game after that is OKC versus Utah. And I'm looking at Oklahoma City's roster, and I'm kind of confused. Because they got Jalen Williams, the Jelen, the guy who was 2nd or 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting last year. It says he's on the roster, which is very interesting because I don't think he needs to play. But regardless, the Thunder have an amazing squad. I would not be surprised if they won the Summer League. Regardless, once their decent players play, they always take them out later in the Summer League. So who knows what their squad's going to look like at the end of Summer League. But regardless, these are the people that they say are probably going to play. So you got Jalen Williams, they got the one from Arkansas, 34th pick from last year. Chet Holmgren, which we haven't seen for a year, didn't play at all. He played some games in the Summer League. He looked very good in the Summer League. So maybe he'll look even better. Who knows? Number 2 pick last year. The other Jalen Williams, 12th pick, like I said, from last year. Ousmane Dieng, 11th pick from 2 years ago. Wait. 2 years ago, yeah. Jared Butler, who I think he played for Baylor on their championship team, I want to say. Not positive, though. He's on the team. Zaire Smith, 16th pick from a while ago. Keontae Johnson, their 50th pick this year. Trey Mann is going to play, who's been on the OKC roster for a little bit. JRE, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, 32nd pick from 2 years ago, who's a solid player for them. Cason Wallace, their 10th overall pick this year. The OKC has a very good summer league team. This is going to be the team to watch right here. I really want the Thunder to play the Spurs. Chet versus Victor. Oh, it's going to be amazing because they're practically the same player, but everyone's saying that Victor is going to be better. So we'll see. So that team's playing the Jazz, so that team's going to be playing Jazz, and the Jazz are another star-studded summer league team. They got Ochai Agbaji, a pick from last year, who's very solid. He got a lot of minutes on the Jazz last year when he got traded by the Cavs. They got Keontae George, pick from this year. They also got Taylor Hendricks, the 9th pick from this year. So I'm gonna be looking forward to watching the Jazz as well. I'm very looking forward to seeing Taylor Hendricks. I didn't watch him in college at all. I saw some highlights. He looks like a solid stretch big. So I really want to see how his shooting is going to translate to the NBA, longer 3-point line and such, and his just physicality, his defense and whatnot. Because I think Taylor Hendricks could be a big key for the Jazz this year. And the last game on the docket for tomorrow is the Warriors versus the Kings. Only 2 players on the Warriors I'm really interested in are Brandon Podziemski, I believe his name is, 19th pick from this year. I don't know like anything about him, and I think he was an interesting pick when they took him. I don't think a lot of people were expecting the Warriors to take him at 19, and then Trace Jackson Davis at 56. He was one of the last picks, and he was a very good player at Indiana last year. So I'm interested in those 2 players a lot. I don't know how they're going to fit with the roster. It's probably going to be like typical Warrior thing where they don't play at all their first year, maybe get a couple minutes second year, and then by the third year, they're like all-stars. I don't know. The Warriors have amazing development, so I bet they're going to be good in the NBA. I just bet they will. And so they play the Kings, and I'm looking at their Summer League roster, and I was about to say, oh, there's no one on this King roster that I'm really excited for. But then I saw Keegan Murray. Why is Keegan Murray on the Summer League roster? Why? I don't understand. He was like an amazing Summer League player. Like, are the Orlando Magic going to play Paolo, who was Rookie of the Year? Like, I don't understand it at all. I mean, they also got like Kessler Edwards, Alex O'Connell. Those are the only 2 other players I recognize on their Summer League team, besides Keegan. So who knows? Maybe Keegan will put on a show, average like 40 points in Summer League. He probably could if he wanted to. I would guess that he's gonna only play maybe the California Classic, so like 2 games. I highly doubt he's gonna play any more than 3 or 4 games in total. So we'll see. So yeah, those are the Summer League games tomorrow. I'm most excited for Spurs versus Hornets. Really want to see Brandon Miller if he plays. Like I said, Victor's not playing. But overall, I'm so excited for Summer League. Summer League is my favorite time of the summer. Absolutely my favorite time of the summer. I love seeing the rookies and the players who are trying to grind their way to make a name for themselves. It's high level basketball because there's players on those teams that need a roster. They're not trying. Like, they're trying their hardest to make a roster spot. So they're going to be giving it their all when they're in a game. So overall, yeah, I'm very excited for this summer league season. California Classic might be a little slow. I don't know if they're doing an Orlando one. They used to do an Orlando Summer League. But Las Vegas is going to be the time where all the really good players absolutely play. California might be a little slow, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it greatly.